Welcome, 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 world. You are in tune to Making the Adjustment podcast. Of course, you got your two hosts, myself and Elder O'Brien Wilkinson. Elder, what's good, man? How you doing today, man?
Life is good, my friend. Can't complain.
Yeah,
Happy to be alive. Happy to be alive.
yeah, man. Happy to be here on another Wednesday, getting it in, man. And we want to talk about some things, man. We want to get it in. What is the bridge to success? What if we're talking about being successful and we're talking about having a successful life? And talk to me, man. What is the bridge? What's the thing to get me from there? You know what I'm saying? I've been living. I mean, I've been surviving life. You know what I'm saying? I've been existing in life. I ain't started living it, man. What's the key, the major key, like DJ Khaled? Tell me, what's the major key to success or walking that bridge to success?
Well, people define success in many different ways. So I can't tell you how a person defines success for their own life, but I can tell you one of the key ingredients to having success at any level, whether it be in marriage, whether it be in business, whether it be in raising your kids or your own personal health, and that's discipline.
Mm.
Everybody needs discipline. Discipline is so critical, and there's usually a negative connotation on the word discipline,
Why?
but
Why do you
to,
think it's a negative connotation? Why do you think it's a negative stigma attached to the word discipline?
because when people hear discipline, we think of when we were kids and we were growing up, and we act a little wild out. One of the adults would say, that kid needs some discipline in his life. So we thinking a whooping or a spanking or something like that. But to be honest with you, tonight we're gonna break down the word discipline so we can get a better understanding of the value of discipline in every aspect of our life and how it's something that can't ever be avoided if you're ever gonna be successful in any area of your life.
Wow. So talk to me, man. Let's get into it. Let's break discipline down a little more, man. Let's talk to that point.
Okay, discipline, in all honesty, is internal strength. That's really what it is. The D is development. The IS is
Okay,
internal
okay,
strength.
okay. So development. That's the first part in discipline. What
Yeah,
what am I what am I developing?
you're
Or what
developing you're developing the capacity to be strong internally. Most people will work out externally. You go to the gym, you get the big muscles and stuff like that, and that's cool because the weights develop you externally. But to develop internal strength, you got to go through some things. You're gonna have to develop some practices in your life, and you're gonna wind up doing things that you don't feel like doing but are necessary to do. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
Take, for example, when you develop a structured routine of eating, a structured routine of resting, you know, discipline is really teaching yourself how to speak, think, and act in order to get the results that you want.
Love it. Okay, so you were going to the IS. Let's talk about the IS.
Okay, the internal strength is not developed in one day. The internal strength is developed over a period of time of consistently doing the same thing over and over and over again in a positive way, not a negative way. Like, for example, somebody may say, well, I'm a smoke and drink over and over and over again. Well, that's not positive and that's not discipline. That's actually self sabotage because discipline is not a negative, it's actually a positive, and it's to get you to an expected end. Whereas alcohol and cigarettes are distracting you from your expected end. It may feel good at the time, but it's really robbing you of a greater benefit.
So you mean tell me I gotta do the same thing over and over and over? How boring is that? I mean,
Well, to be honest with you, what you're doing over and over and over again is something that you really don't want to do. And that's what develops internal strength. Because as we keep going, you'll better understand it. Matter of fact, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna drop the whole thing on you. So as
drop
we
the whole
break it
thing on.
down, you can get a better understanding. So discipline, developing internal strength completely improves personal living because it involves no excuses.
Mm,
So once you eliminate excuses from your life, then it opens up a world of opportunities for you. The reason why most people can't progress or don't progress, in my opinion, in life is because of the excuse factor.
Well,
Anytime you go,
let's
well,
let's let's go back. Let's go back. So read. You gave us discipline. Give it to us one more time. So I don't want people to miss it because we got past it so fast.
okay, cool, cool, cool. Developing internal strength completely improves personal living involving no excuses.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay, so as we're breaking it down, you were going on the you were about to go down that hole and go down that place and that path, talking about why discipline is important. So give it to me. Talk to me. Why is discipline so important? And it's one of the things that most people miss.
Internal strength is something that most people lack. So when they get hit by storms in life, setbacks in life, disappointments in life, most people, they default to drugs or drinking or even depression. And I won't lie to you, there are things in life that can hit you so hard that it'll make you want to quit, make you want to give up. But that's where the internal strength comes in, because that internal strength is like that extra battery that gives you that charge, that boost that you need to push through whatever the distraction is. So you don't build discipline in the storm, you build discipline for the storm and before the storm.
Yeah. So I mean, I hear that, and I think that's wise, and I hear a lot of wisdom in that. But how would you build discipline for a storm that you don't even know it's coming? You know what I'm saying?
The good thing about storms, and we're going to talk more about storms, but the good thing about storms is that you never know when they're coming, and you never know the magnitude of the storm, like how much damage it's going to cause. The storm you'll never be able to control, but you can control you during the storm.
And
So
how is that a good thing? You said the good thing is that you'll never know it's. I mean, how is that a good thing? Talk to it.
because as long as I know that the internal strength that I've developed, the storm can't take me out. The storm, me developing internal strength is like a safe place during a bad storm.
Mm,
They always say that the safest place in the storm is in the eye, in the middle of it, because
right
all of the chaos is going on the
on the
outside.
outside of it, yeah.
That's why you develop internal strength, because as long as you got the internal strength, you see all this chaos on the outside, but you're settled and established because you know that what you see cannot hurt you nor stop you. So it's loud, it's ferocious, it's doing its thing, but my internal strength has me settled and at peace, because once this thing is over, not only will I learn more from it, but it will prove to me the value of the work that I put in prior to its coming. So you don't know when it's coming, so you can't determine, well, I'll discipline myself tomorrow. That's the whole point of eliminating excuses,
Right.
okay? And that's the whole point of you doing right now what you don't feel like doing. Anytime you do what you don't feel like doing, you're developing internal strength. Anytime you don't do what you know you should be doing, you're delaying the opportunity to develop internal strength. And the more you delay it, the less prepared you are for an impending storm that will never warn you when it's going to show up.
Man. So discipline. In some areas, I think is more challenging than the other. How can one discipline their thoughts to do better? Like how can they discipline themselves in their thought life to actually see that in their real life? This they're living in everyday form of fashion.
Um, I'm gonna give you a scripture that I read the other day,
Okay.
Joshua 1:8. It says, "This book of the law shall not depart from thy mouth. Speak it, but meditate upon it day and night, thinking and observe to do all that is within. Observe to do, acting. So when you speak, think, and act, okay, you automatically position yourself, especially when you speak, think, and act the truth. Most people spend a lot of time regurgitating and speaking about what they're currently going through, never about where they want to end up.
Mm,
If you spend more time talking about, thinking about, and taking steps towards where you want to end up, you'll experience the success And the discipline is what will get you there. But if you spend more time wallowing where you are and only focusing on where you are, one, you lack the ability to see beyond your situation, and therefore you will be stuck in that situation. Disciplined people always see beyond where they are, and that's why they never get stuck where they are.
I love that, man. I love that. And it's important in our thought process that we're taking the steps to be disciplined in it. You know, you hear those old antigens that watch your thoughts, you know what I'm saying? Because they become words, watch words because they become habits. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. And I always come from the vantage point of what consumes your thoughts controls your life, right? So if you're in your thoughts being disciplined over your thoughts, then I can see how you would be able to kind of put that in every place in every phase or every facet of your life. So if you found yourself, if you're a person that has found yourself in the middle of a storm, right? How can you get yourself out?
Well, before we even get to the storm factor, you have to consider the fact that life is going from one storm to the next storm. And once you have decided that, okay, for the rest of my life, I'm going to be going through storms, because storms come to pass. They don't come to stay. So I won't be in a storm every single day, but I know that the storm is coming. So I'm always preparing. And there are 3 stages of preparation: my conversation, my thought process, and what I do. So every day I'm training myself how to speak different. I'm not going to talk about what I see. I'm going to talk about what I want to see. I'm not going to think about what somebody else is doing or what somebody else is saying. I'm going to think about where I'm trying to go. And then I'm going to take steps to move based upon what I've been saying and what I've been thinking. Because what good is saying it and thinking it if I'm not going to take steps towards it? So when the storm comes, it catches me off guard, but it doesn't throw me off balance because I have been preparing for you. There's an old saying that when I would do good, evil is always present. Well, guess what? It don't matter how much good you do, you can't avoid a storm, because the storms come not just to test what you've been doing, but they come to strengthen who you are. There are a lot of people that don't know who they are until after the storm. You don't really know who you have in a relationship until the storm.
That's good. That's good.
You really don't. You can date somebody and everything is wonderful in the beginning. It's all nice because you got the honeymoon phase. But when the storm hits, that's when you find out who you really have based upon how they react. Not respond, but how they react. In discipline, you learn to respond to things. In the lack of discipline, you will always react to things. And reaction, your reaction is based on emotion and feeling. Response is based upon preparation.
I love it because that's good. We always hear the term, and you've said this many a times. We hear the term first responders, right?
Yes.
Not first reactors. And
right.
Break that down. Break that down when we talk about first responders, first reactors.
Well, as humans, our first responders should be the training that we put ourselves through. However, if we haven't put ourselves through the disciplined training of speaking, thinking, and behaving, then we're going to react based upon our senses. And your senses will always lie to you. Your senses are limited. Your sense of sight, your sense of touch, your sense of smell, your sense of hearing, they're all limited. They really should be serving a disciplined individual versus an individual serving them. And if you lack discipline, you are going to rely heavy on your 5 senses versus on your experiences from the training that you have put yourself through in preparation for the thing that is coming, okay, but hasn't given you a time as to when it's going to show up. The storm is coming, but it hasn't alerted you as to when it's going to show up. But a disciplined person is never worried about the storm because they already have inside of them everything they need to address it. It's almost like when you fly on a plane, the pilot will tell you, we've got flotation devices, we've got fire extinguishers, we have all the things necessary for an impending situation that could arise without warning. We're already prepared. That's what discipline does. It supplies you with all the things that you need for an unexpected situation that was already coming, but didn't give you a heads up.
Yes, sir. And the funny thing is we've talked about this many a times. And we when we say first responders, the first thing you think about in the natural is police, firemen, ambulance, and they're coming responding to the situation with training, with tools.
That's
They
right.
they're there and they're ready to take care
They're
of.
not emotional. They're not
Right.
irrational. They're not trying to figure out what to do during this particular storm because they were already preparing for the storm. They didn't know when it was coming, but they were training as if they knew it was coming because they know that at some point it's going to happen. And when it does, it gives me an opportunity to apply all that I've been preparing myself for prior to the experience.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. So that's the first part, disciplining your thoughts. You said the next thing you said, this was crucial. You said you discipline your thoughts, you discipline your words, because you start with your words. Now, how do we put this in play? Because we're really trying to get out of the storm. So what's the next thing? I've got my thoughts together. I've started speaking different. Now, what's the next thing? What's the next thing that we're going to do to be able to get
Now
out of
you
this?
made a statement. You said we're really trying to get out of the storm. If you are working on discipline while you're in the storm, there's a strong possibility you might not make it out the storm, player. The reason why I say that is because you're going to spend more time reacting and less time responding because you haven't prepared enough. It's
Mhm.
almost like I got a hole in my boat and the water is coming in faster than I'm able to off it, to dump it. Versus if I knew that once I got on the water, I had a pump prepared and ready. So if anything ever happened or transpired, I kicked that pump in and now I'm sitting back letting the pump do the work. That's the process of discipline. All you do is sit back and you ride the storm out because the discipline is going to do the work for you. It's going to tell you what to say. It's going to tell you how to think and how to move.
Mm.
Prior to all of this happening, you're preparing for this. Somebody says to me, you training for a particular show? No, I'm not training for a particular show. Well, every time I see you in the gym, I'm in the gym because life happens. I need my body to recover fast if something should arise unexpectedly. And if I've been preparing my health and myself through eating properly, exercising properly, my immune system is ready for anything that's thrown at it unexpectedly. I'm not saying I'm looking forward to something coming, but it's life. And life doesn't warn you as to when it's going to throw something at you.
Life keep lifing, man. That's something
Life
that
keep
we
life. And the thing about life, it has no feelings or emotions. It just does what it does without warning. So you have to prepare as though you know something is going to happen. I love when people think that they control time, or I'll get to that tomorrow, or I'll do that later. How you know there's a later? How you know there's a tomorrow? But you say those things as excuses because you don't feel like doing what's necessary to prepare you for what's coming. And anytime you don't feel like doing something that's necessary for what's coming, that's when you should do it.
you know,
I
I,
don't
I
feel like washing the dishes, but I'm going to do them anyway.
but I
Just got
got
off
you.
work.
I got you. That's a point. And I said this and I said this backstage. We've been given 24 hours. All of us been given 24 hours. 8 of it we sleep, 8 of it we go to work. The other 8 we're left with. That's the time that where we use the most excuses. Right there. And the time where we can use those 8 hours to actually train ourselves, read a book, listen to a podcast, do something, read the word, find something that will help us to get better in that area of life to where we can have more. That's where we put in the most entertainment. In those 8 hours, we put in the most entertainment. We put in the most excuses. We're like, I get to it later. Just like O was saying, this is something that I think is a problem. So talk to me about how we can use that 8 hours and be creative and use discipline to kind of get ourselves to the next page or the next ring in life, to go up one higher every day.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. The reason why a person would discipline themselves is because they have vision. If you don't have vision, then what's the point of discipline? The ability to see beyond where you are a picture of the future. If you don't have a picture of the future, then discipline is irrelevant for your life. If you don't see any impending danger, if you don't see a problem, if you somehow believe that you can control time and you got plenty of time, I mean, I got 24/7, I can do whatever I want to do with that. If you somehow believe that you can determine these things, then you lack the ability to see beyond. You lack the faith to believe that there are things waiting to happen that are out of your control. So therefore, you're not going to discipline yourself. Most people find themselves in a storm. And when they're in the storm, that's when they try to prepare. And when they can't prepare, they go through something called escapism.
What's escapism, man? Talk to me about that. What you saying escapism? What are we doing in that escapism process?
Escapism is the relentless pursuit of entertainment and anything that will bring relief to the unpleasant experience that I'm going through. Problem with trying to find relief whenever you're going through a storm or a crisis situation is that you only delay the process. Most people die in the storm because they're unprepared. Most people lose more in the storm because they make irrational decisions because of lack of preparation. You ever heard the statement, don't make a permanent decision based on something temporary? Most people make permanent decisions based on something temporary. Husbands and wives are guilty of this. They make a permanent decision to separate themselves after years of being together based upon something that is coming to pass. If they understand it and had prepared for it, they could see the benefit and how this thing was going to add to the relationship versus destroying it. So the thing didn't destroy it, they did, because they didn't prepare for the storm. They saw the storm as a no-win situation, so we might as well dump what we got, which is each other for the most part, the valuable things, and salvage what remains, which is us. It becomes a very selfish thing in the storm when you start becoming irrational and illogical and you start panicking, you come up emotional, you start making very poor decisions because you don't have discipline, the internal strength, the fortitude to be able to face the storm, know how to anchor yourself down until it passes.
So, and escapism, what you're saying is with escapism, we're not anchoring ourselves. We're just letting, we're finding something to take our mind away. And therefore, there is no anchor. There's nothing to root us down and to keep us from moving so that we can stay still in a time where everything is being chaotic around us.
There's no anchor in entertainment. There's no anchor in satisfying your flesh. There's no anchor in doing whatever helps you clock out or tune out. There's no anchor in that because now you're disengaged. So whatever you're supposed to be learning to help build you, fortify you, strengthen you, take you to the next place, you tuned out. So you no longer receive the information that's necessary. So when the storm is over, if you survive it, you've lost a lot in the process.
So it almost feels like you're further back. You're further away than when you started. I got it.
First of all, you starting from scratch now, because I'm going to tell you, if you don't lose yourself, you're going to lose a whole bunch of stuff that you're going to now have to recover from. Whereas before, if you had anchored down, you would have protected what you had and gained more in the process, because every storm comes to teach. That's why the acrostic for storm is something to only remind me.
Say that again so we don't
something to only remind me.
Something to only remind me is I got it.
Because when I go through my next storm, I remember what I did the last time. So not only am I going to be able to use what I gained from the last storm in this storm, but I'm about to gain some more for the next storm.
Yeah, man. So we discipline our thoughts. We discipline our conversation. And we start taking steps. That last thing is
eliminating excuses. See, the behavior comes when you make excuses. When you make excuses, then you don't have to act on the new way of thinking and new way of speaking. Once you eliminate excuses, now you're responsible for upholding what you said and how you think. And there gives birth to discipline. Once you start acting on your new way of speaking and thinking, once you start on your new way of thinking and speaking, now you've given birth to the development of internal strength. And your life
Go ahead. Go ahead. Your life.
Go ahead. And I was gonna say, and your life personally begins to change for the better.
So why do you think that why do you think that people find themselves in a perpetual state of excuses? Like what is it that makes us as humans make excuses?
Because discipline isn't fun, man. Sure, discipline's hard. I'm here to have fun. I'm here to enjoy myself. I want to enjoy life. People make the statement, I'm living my best life. And I hate to say, you know, if you lack discipline, self-control, the capacity to anchor yourself in a storm, make it through, learn some things so that you can teach you, your children, anybody connected to you, you're not living your best life. You're losing your best life.
Mm.
If you think you can control time, so therefore you waste it, I won't spend 8 hours sleeping. I spend 5 hours sleeping and I get up early so I can invest the other 3 hours in something that's going to add to the future that I want to experience. And when I experience from my investment, I'm living my best life. My best life is not lived when I go out and party. Nothing wrong with partying. My best life ain't lived when I go out drinking and hanging out. That ain't my best life. My best life isn't when, I meet some really nice chick and we have a great experience and it's fun and it's all wonderful. My best life is when we go through a storm together and we come out on the other side and we can talk about all the benefits of what we learned and how it has enhanced and strengthened our relationship. That's my best life.
When we come out together, that's
True
the
that.
biggest. We
True
come
that.
out together. Yeah, man.
True that. And like I said, I don't care what nobody say. Whoever you meet, whoever you find, you don't know them until the storm.
Yeah.
You
And I
don't
mean,
know them.
so you said that very adamantly. Um,
I'm
but
saying it. You don't know them. I
why do
don't
you
care, your
say that?
homeboy,
Why do you
whoever.
say that? Give us some clarity on why you say that. Why would you say that?
Because you don't know what's inside people until something pushes that button. And when people come into your life, they come in with their own trauma. They come into their own baggage. You know what I'm saying? But there are things that you don't know about them. Even though they disclose a bunch of stuff verbally, you don't know how they really respond or, handle tragedy. You know what I'm saying? Situations that are unexpected. But the storm comes to test that for you. So you don't have to ask them a whole lot of questions. Just wait. The storm is going to test it for you and enlighten you and inform you as to who you have riding with you. People love to hang with people who are up. It's when I'm down that I need you the most. That's when I find
Right.
out who you really are.
Right.
That's when I find out who you really are.
Yeah,
People
man.
say, "Oh, I want to know everything about you," until you find out everything about me. Then I find out some stuff about you too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. That's why there's something called TIME. To improve my experiences, it takes time.
Yeah.
So when you rush into a relationship and you don't give yourself some time to go through some storms together, you never know who you're dealing with. You never know who you have. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
no, I take my time. I take my time. I do my due diligence on myself, not them, on me.
Yeah.
Because if they're not strong enough to weather the storm and I got to get through by myself, then I need to be strong enough. I'm not so much concerned about strengthening the relationship. The storm will do that. I got to strengthen myself individually while they strengthen themselves individually. And together we'll come together against this storm and learn some things for our relationship and for us individually. But if I'm focused on you during the storm, then I'm not going to make it. You
Facts.
ever see somebody drowning and you trying to save them and they going ballistic and they pulling you under? Nah. If you don't know how to swim, then, and I'm a swimmer, we got a problem.
I feel that. I feel that. I just, when we start talking like this, man, and life, we keep saying continually, life is gonna happen.
It
It's
does.
part of it, right? But just because it happened to you, you shouldn't let it happen through you. You have to be disciplined enough in your thoughts to know that, hey, look, this happened. I can continually change the narrative. It may have been a bad thing, but I can change the narrative if I just continue to stay disciplined with my thoughts, disciplined with my words, the way that I speak, disciplined with my actions, and I make no excuses, right? Yeah, you blow it. You can blow it. You make mistakes. People make mistakes. But when you make a mistake, you have to stay disciplined enough to continue to watch over your thought life, to continue to watch over your words, continue to watch over your actions, and make no excuses.
And
It's a
true,
pattern.
and true for the matter, everything you're saying is valid. People who don't like to read, people who don't like to listen to podcasts, people who like to Facebook and listen to other people will never be disciplined, because Facebook is not a place for discipline. Hanging out with your homegirl, your homeboys, and stuff like that is not necessarily a place of discipline, because discipline is a personal. And the personal thing requires that you pull away from Facebook sometimes, you pull away from social media, you pull away from friends, and that you educate your way of thinking. And that you take the information and you begin to not just regurgitate it in your head, but you begin to speak it out of your mouth.
Yeah, man.
So much so that you want to see the fruit of what you're saying. Nobody sows a seed and doesn't expect to see fruit. Whether you don't take information into your way of thinking, you don't confess something and not want to see the taste of it in your actual life experiences. And most people don't want to do it because it requires work. And work is not easy. Work is hard because there's no immediate gratification with discipline. Immediate gratification is the world we live in right now. Everybody wants the microwave experience. Nobody wants to go through the slow cooker. And discipline is a slow cooker. It is not immediate gratification. Kids hate it. Adults hate it. Only people that love it are people with vision. If you have no vision, then you hate discipline. If you're all about the moment, then you want the microwave.
So let me ask you then, if that be the case, would you say discipline is a part of maturity?
Discipline is the only way to get to the place of maturity. Only mature folk mess with discipline. Immature folk avoid it. They make excuses. Excuses are the result of you looking for an easier way to do something that you know you should take the hard road and get done. Anytime you see somebody make an excuse, they just delaying the process of the hard work because they think there's an easier way to get to it. People tell me all the time, hey, don't work so hard. I go, no, I'm going to work hard, but I'm going to be smart about the work that I do. Don't give me an easy way to do this thing when the road is supposed to be hard. Nobody gets to have anything that's worth anything without hard work. Anything you have in life that's got any kind of worth or value, I'm gonna tell you right now, I promise you, if you go to the Toyota dealership, you could probably find a Toyota and probably negotiate a deal. You go to the Bentley dealership, there's no negotiation, no deal. It costs what it costs. It costs what it costs, my friend.
Come on, man.
The quality, the value that was put into that thing, the discipline that was put into building such a structure, it's going to cost you what it costs you.
Yeah.
And if you can't afford the price, then you'll make excuses about, I never wanted one of those anyway, or you just can't afford it, man. And that's what people who make excuses do. They can't afford it because they haven't paid the price for it. And the price is discipline. Discipline yourself and you can get wherever it is you're trying to go. And I'm not just talking to people, I'm talking to me, because discipline is hard, man.
Oh, it definitely is. It's hard. It's a challenge. I would say it's challenging. It's a challenging thing to attain. And it's like that. It's like that. So do you have any parting shots, man? Something you want to leave with the people this week, man? We up on time.
Well, again, like I always say, the only constant in life is change. And change is constantly, happening around us, whether you want it to or not, it's going to happen. But the thing that helps you transition through every single change is discipline, that internal strength. It completely improves personal living because it involves no excuses. Get rid of the excuses. Even if you tell yourself something, keep your word to yourself, because if you lie to you, then you'll lie to me.
Ooh.
It's true. If you lie to yourself, you're going to lie to me. If you say to yourself, I'm going to do this, and you don't do it, and I know you said it and you didn't do it, I'm expecting you to lie to me the next time you promise me something. Because you can't even keep your word to yourself. How you going to keep it to me? You don't have the discipline to keep it to yourself, so you ain't got the discipline to give it to me and keep it.
Well, I hear that, and I'm telling you, man, I think this is something that's really going to bless the people and help the people. I mean, it's helping us, as we grow and we keep doing this thing called life. You understand that there's new ways to discipline yourself. There's new ways to hold yourself accountable. It's new ways to kind of begin to start seeing yourself so that you can implement new things in your life so you can get bigger, better, faster, and stronger. No one is preaching
Get
at you.
information. Get
Yeah,
information. Educate yourself. Don't get facts, get truth.
that it.
Truth
Don't get facts.
never
Get truth.
changes. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's equations and variables. Life boils down to equations and variables. Facts will always change. Truth remains forever.
yeah. And so I think one of the things that we want to leave you with on this is, remember, this is not two perfect people talking about their perfect experiences. These are two people who have just came to a place where we're saying, hey man, we want to help as many people as we possibly can out here. And we're doing it from a perspective where we failed in some things, but we've learned. And because we failed in those things, we've actually had success. And that's a big part of life. Learning that success, the road to success and having success also is paved with failure. And if you can learn how to fail and get up and say, okay, I didn't succeed here, but I can succeed in this thing, doing this again, because I have the information that caused me to fail and I've changed, right? So that's why we say the only constant in life is change. And to get the most out of life, you definitely have to make the adjustments.
And disciplined people never see things as a failure. They see them as an opportunity for success. It's a change of thought. Failure is if you don't get back up. Disciplined people always get back up. They never stay down. It's the internal strength that allows them to get back up again. So they can never fail.
I love it, man. Hey, thank you guys for being with us. Thank you guys for riding with us. For myself, for Elder O'Brien, we're going to catch y'all next Wednesday at 8:30, man. We'll see you guys. Peace.